Okay, so as I was saying, um, welcome to home. Glad to have you here. Uh, every week, Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern, we come together and get get a little bit of extra wisdom and knowledge and other things that we hope to glean from Phuntsok, our teacher. Um, the class, we really focus on what's going on in our lives in day to day, what's coming up personally for us. And Phuntsok comes from a lineage it's really steeped in Tibetan Buddhism and the wisdom that's in that tradition. And so that's a perspective he's able to give us. It's a perspective that cuts through to what's happening at a more subtle layer than often we, or at least I, take into account when I'm walking down the street and living out my life. This week we're going to be looking at purification, really. There's been a lot going on in the world that's felt difficult. Um, the moments now, the protest, Black Lives Matter, coming into this with the shutdown and coronavirus, it's been quite a year. And as much as I have personally felt so much emotion and so much desire to engage, I know there's also aspects that I need to really investigate inwardly too. So we're going to be talking about that tonight, and Phuntsok will lead us through a meditation and then a commentary lecture on that subject. Then we'll have some time for questions, and we'll do a closing meditation and dedication for the evening. So I'll turn it over to Phuntsok. Please take it away.
Okay, thank you. All right, welcome again, everyone. And it's very beautiful that I see that we are still showing up, still maintaining the Sangha. And I want you to know, that not that this specific Sangha itself being maintained is a necessary thing for the community at large, but I would say things like this continuing to take place is important for the community at large. Tonight's topic is kind of a bit of a it's a bit difficult to deliver because of what's happening around the world right now. And I'm sure a lot of us are feeling a lot of different kinds of emotions. Some of us are feeling that, oh, wonderful, this is happening. But at the same time, it's like a growing pain. It's wonderful that there's growth taking place, but at the same time, we can't deny the pain that is involved in it. And how do we deal with the pain so that the growth can happen, so that the growth is not, we don't stop the growth from taking place. I think it's a wonderful thing, especially with this generation, I would say, us who are around this time, we've sort of been groomed by forces, unconscious forces, been groomed to the very thing that sort of, you could say is a criticism of our generation, the wanting things immediately, And I'm seeing how having been groomed to have that kind of state of mind or that kind of attitude of wanting things immediately, I think it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing to want things immediately. But at the same time, we shouldn't be discouraged when we don't see an immediate result of the fulfillment of our desire, of our wish for things to happen immediately. It is correct to want it. It is correct to work for it. But we have to also understand the nature of things. And it's not understand the nature of things and then just settle and then stop trying, but rather keep that fire of, I want it now, I want it immediately, because what you want is something that should be here already, so to speak. It should be here already. And it's not here, and you should invest all the emotion that you want to invest, that you feel you want to invest into it. But at the same time, just understand the nature of things, how things come into being, and how what you really want is not just something to happen immediately and for you to go home and that's it, but rather you want something enduring, something that is that is sustainable. Okay, don't forget that. In order for such a result that is long-lasting, sustainable, enduring, what we have to do is be patient. Be patient. But not patient in a sense of, okay, I can let my emotions down, but rather keep the emotion going. But just have that understanding so you're not discouraged. Understand that it will take time. And persistence. That, I would say, was one of the most profound teachings, most profound, most direct, most powerful teachings I ever received. It was in a very sort of like magical space. And the only thing that I received from that teaching was persevere. Persevere. Okay. Your actions will never have no results. And that's something that we have to come to fully, completely understand and fully have conviction in, that there will always be fruit to our actions. And that is why we engage in whatever we do, because there's this conviction. There is going to be a fruit. There is going to be a result. There's going to be a response, a fruition of our actions. Always remember that, even if you can't see it yet. Okay. All right. And as and connected to that, in the meditation itself, whenever you sit down to meditate, doesn't matter if you've been meditating for a long time, if you been meditating for a long time, and you can't seem to see, it seems like I can't seem to make progress. Whenever you sit down to meditate, you're making progress. Even if the sessions are a mess, your mind is running all over the place, you're making progress, okay? You're making progress. And always remember that. Okay, so we're gonna meditate. And it's the same kind of a meditation that I've been doing, where we will, a meditation that is not too much involved with a lot of things. Okay, a bit less elaborate in meditation. All right, so have the intention to meditate. Let that intention be like a calling of all the components of your being to come into cooperation. Not being forced to come into cooperation, but to allow them, let them know that this is what they want also, and let them participate. And connect with that momentum of their participation. The body's participation, the physical part of it, the energetic part of it, the participation of your emotions, the participation of your intelligence, all those, the perception. Be aware of them, just stay in the midst of them, receiving their wave of participation. And let that be communicated to the environment around you. And the energy in your environment also wants to participate. Because when you enter the meditative state, it's for the benefit of everything, everyone, especially your surroundings. and they too want that. So connect with your environment, be aware of it without rejecting this is distraction, this is this and that. Just be aware and just stay sounding that intention. I'm going to meditate. And your seat is responding. Feel what the seat is giving you, that you need support, stability. Directly direct your attention at this. And just let go. Let your seat hold you. And as you let go, notice something is arising in the body because of your letting go, because of your trusting. Notice the intelligence in the body also responding, cooperating, participating, giving you advice, making adjustments here, making adjustments there, asking you to let go here, let go there. And as you cooperate, as you listen, as you participate, notice that sign that is arising, enhancing. And gently scan the body, beginning with the legs. And as you notice the signs of calm and pleasantness, rejoice. Continue scanning the torso, the abdomen, the back, the chest, all the way to the shoulders. From the shoulders, the arms, all the way to the fingers. Rejoicing as you make contact with the measure of calm and the pleasantness. Knowing that those are signs of approaching, getting closer to natural state. Feel the head and neck centered, completing the uprightness of the spine. Mouth, teeth, tongue resting in their natural places. The muscles of the face resting, the muscles in the forehead resting. And continue to stay actively connected to the sense of calm, by rejoicing, by celebrating that. And gently come rest your attention in the soft resting of the eyes. There's a very advanced meditation book. As a preliminary, very important preliminary, it simply states, relax. Now feel the entire body as a whole unit. And you feel the general sense of calm and pleasantness throughout the body. Not just the calm in the legs, not just the calm in the arms, but the calm in the body. And bring awareness to the breath now. calming, what it's doing is, in a sense, putting to sleep the parts of our minds that when they are awake, prevent us from accessing very powerful, very subtle aspects of our being. So that's what you are relaxing. And as you notice the relaxation taking place, welcome it, rejoice, celebrate it. It's part of the process. Staying steady in that relaxed state. Now, make a deliberate intention to commit yourself to enter fully into this state, fully into the space qualified by this relaxation, qualified by this pleasantness. And the way we sort of sign that commitment is with a deep, full breath. And with the exhalation, completely let go into that relaxed state. And notice what's arising because you're letting go, because of the relaxation. Through the nose, a nice deep breath. And through the mouth, let go. Let go, let go, let go, let go. Notice what's happening physically, energetically. Notice what's happening in the mind. Notice what's happening in the breath. Stay in that momentum of letting go, letting go, letting go. Notice the micro points of tension now coming to the surface of awareness. Now you can release them and go even deeper into that relaxation, deeper into that pleasantness, deeper into that peace. Keep letting go, keep letting go. Stay in that momentum. Leave the breath alone. Let the breath take care of the breath and just stay, keep coasting, keep riding on that momentum of letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, feeling it, enhancing the calm in the body in a palpable way, feeling it, enhancing the calm in the breath in a palpable way. And this is making space for more subtle aspects of consciousness to come up. And because they are coming up with their clarity, their natural radiance, the natural focus, inner sensations are now present. Tactile sensations, visuals, inner hearing, inner taste, inner smells. Just stay with them, rejoicing, witnessing, oh, I know what this means. This is clarity, this is radiance arising. It's not distraction. Keep letting go, keep letting go, keep staying in that momentum. Now there's this steady abiding, and the signs are a bit stronger, a bit more enhanced. The calm, the pleasantness the pleasantness is slowly transforming into more joy, more joy. The calm is slowly transforming into peace and more peace and more peace. And the very sensations are pointing to clarity, are pointing to luminosity. They're because of their vividness, their utter distinctiveness. Now let's stabilize with 3 full breaths, just like before. Stay connected to the signs as you take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And through the mouth, let go. And notice the letting go, enjoy the letting go. Let the breath take you as far and as deep as it can. And wherever it takes you to, stay there as you take the next inhalation. through the nose again, deeply, gently. Let the breath come back all by itself. And when it comes back, this last one, full breath through the nose, breathe in. And at the exhalation, you're going to dive. And notice the momentary, almost split second of an utter peace that you seem to have touched. It seems to be almost imaginary because it happened so fast, but you couldn't deny that having touched that. So stay in the direction. Stay in direction of that peace, of that silence. That it feels like you could hear it. It feels like you could see it. It feels like you could sense it. You could touch it. So keep directing whatever sense it felt like you could touch it with. Keep directing that sense towards it. As if you can touch that silence, as if you can hear it, as if you can see it. Keep directing your sense towards it. And just keep going in that direction. If you feel a slight, almost passing, I don't want to say it, but almost something similar to as if you're going to pass out, as if you're going to enter into something. Something is about to happen. Stay in that direction. And to allow yourself to go deeper into that, just keep relaxing, keep relaxing. Relax physically, relax energetically, relax with the breath, without forcing, relax in perception. Keep directing that sense towards that silence, that peace. And if discursive thinking is putting you in danger, where discursive thinking is thinking about something else, take hold of that discursive thinking and direct it towards that peace by talking about it to yourself. And as we are continuously drawing closer and closer, going deeper and deeper into that peace, remember the sensations pointing to clarity and radiance, because we are getting closer, because we are going deeper, they will become stronger. So if they become stronger, that's actually a good sign. No need to stay staring at them. Just understand it's just part of the process. And just keep relaxing. Keep directing that sense or those senses towards that silence. We want to connect with what is relevant, with what is meaningful. That which will render us skillful actors on this stage. So be open to that. And again, let's find in that space the collective us. Feel everyone who is tuned into this sitting around you, forming a circle. And that one intention that unifies us, that common intention, it's our common personality. Focus on that and start to see a ball of light appearing in the midst, in our midst, in the circle that we are forming. And keep listening to it, keep seeing it, keep touching it, directing your senses towards it. Now see that light in our midst, in the center, expanding. As it expands, it sends more light to us, and we direct ourselves more into it, ready to melt into that light. Keep directing your sense or senses towards that silence. Until that light completely absorbs all that which makes us appear to be distinct, separate. And we experience each other like different thoughts in one mind. Towards that which we all share in common, this nature, beyond the superficial understandings of oneness, otherness. Towards it we feel great respect, great trust and gratitude. And purposefully, intentionally, for the sake of benefit of others, out of that compassionate, loving intention, the appearance of this, just this common being of light begins to appear as each one of us. Stay aware of that. We are taking this appearance of different personalities for a common purpose. These different appearances. Trying on costumes. And get ready to come out, but stay. To make the appearance of emerging. Now try to keep those two identities same and yet different. And there's nothing impossible about pure potential for this appearance to take place. With that in mind, let's come out. Feel the meditative space again. Rejoice witnessing the signs. And with a nice breath, let's come out, in through the nose and out the mouth. And try to stay there and at the same time be aware of your immediate surroundings through a sense of touch, sense of hearing, sense of sight. Okay, I hope that wasn't too much in terms of being too advanced and also too boring. No, it's interesting when you're, especially within the Mahayana and Vajrayana path, you get all excited. You're going to be doing these incredible practices, incredible meditations that's going to bring about these incredible kinds of results. And at first, you're giving a lot of simple things. So, oh, these very simple things. I want something real, something more exciting, something, something with a lot of meat in it. And to make sure that we stay on the path, eventually we start to encounter complicated practices, complicated things. Yay, finally we are doing the real practice, all this complicated stuff. Yeah. visualize the entire universe in a seed and see a bunch of seeds in entire, fill the universe and all that kind of stuff. And then while you do this, while you do that, and while you, yeah. And then eventually you, oh my God, this is too complicated. Woo! This is too complicated. I don't think I can do this. But you know, that pride, you start to build up that pride. Look, I'm doing advanced practices. Look how complicated it is. You know, I'm imagining the entire universe in an atom, and I'm imagining a bunch of atoms in a bowl, and then all that kind of stuff, all these kinds of colors. I'm saying powerful mantras, and I'm seeing powerful visualization, yantras, things like that. Then eventually, once you believe that you believe that you're about to grasp all this complication thing, about to settle, and now you're about to, it's not really the advanced, there's even more advanced. So you're thinking that, okay, all right, I'm ready for more advanced. I'm ready for, okay, what complication you can have that you can give me that is not as more complicated than this. And then it becomes, then you arrive at meditations that are extremely simple. So simple that you understand that if you are giving these very simple meditations from the very beginning, the mind being what it is would not have appreciated them. You would have thought them, well, there's nothing, there can't be any power in this. This is too simple, right? So that's what I meant by, I hope this wasn't too much for you, because it was kind of advanced, not at the same time. It was a bit complicated. Okay. All right. Let's get into the topic for today. Even though Emmett wrote the email, the topic, he didn't have a title for the topic. So I kept thinking about what should be the topic? What's the word for this topic? And I thought, yeah, he mentioned purification. I said, nah, that's not good enough. It's too simple, not complicated enough. And I read it again, and then the word reckoning, sort of hit me. I said, whoa, yeah, that's it, reckoning. That's very, that looks very enticing, very powerful, very attention grabbing. Okay, the reckoning. So what's going on right now in our world? What is is there such a thing as a Buddhist view about what's going on? And do you need to go to ask the Dalai Lama about it in order for you to get it? Is it complicated? As far as when you ask seasoned Buddhists, those who grew up in monasteries and who raise other monastics, who've been raised, their family, their generations been into this kind of thing. For them, there's nothing new about what's going on. This is just, good old samsara. They would tell you, but there's this, it's global, it's this and that. And they tell you, and what do you think the teaching has been talking about all this time? What do you think, when they kept saying samsara, what do you think they were pointing to? Some abstract outside somewhere that maybe you will encounter in your dreams? They were talking about your life, this very kind of life, this unenlightened way of existing. That's what they're referring to. And everything that's happening is just proof of samsara, samsaric existence. But there are different things for different ages, for different times, because we do encounter powerful teachings that says this teaching is especially for this time. This teaching is especially for that time. Okay. In the Nyingma and other kinds of forms of Tibetan Buddhism, they even have a kind of teaching called treasuries, where somebody either is guided inwardly by intuition and then they stumble onto a cave, and in the cave there's a pile of texts, and the text is somehow written for the time that it was discovered. Or somebody goes into some kind of meditation and then they encounter some sort of almost like a dictation, and that's called a sky treasure. And then it's a teaching that was specifically relevant for that time. So there are these kinds of things, teachings relevant for the time that you're in. But the fundamental teachings, it doesn't mean that the fundamental teachings somehow become irrelevant, become out of time. They're never really out of time. Okay, it's sort of like more like refined to be understood better in our time. In the beginning, I started to mention something about the wonderful thing that is happening. And I mentioned that our generation, one of the things that we even criticize ourselves with, and you hear a lot of, suppose, great teachers even criticize this generation. It's been called at times the American disease, and now it's the Western disease. Now it's the modern disease. Okay, and it's the disease of I want it now. I want it now. I want it yesterday. Okay, and for a long time that's been in reference to how things have been. It's sort of like it's been a criticism to want things now, to want things to happen now. But when it comes to, and the strange thing is though, in the highest teachings, your compassion is supposed to be impatient. You're supposed to develop your compassion to a level where your compassion becomes impatient. Impatient with, I want the result now. What is the result? I want the result of others suffering to end now. I want the result of my inability to do anything about the suffering that I see around me. I want to see that result now. And it's considered to be a very highly powerful, sophisticated state of mind to develop. Okay, and it's the very strange thing that you encounter in the path. There are things that you encounter in the beginning that are very powerful, and because of our predispositions, we don't see their power, and we need elaborations so that we can stay on the path, almost like enticement, so we can stay on the path because we don't fully understand the power of what is given to us from the very beginning. So we go through this phase of engaging elaborations, and eventually only to arrive at a point where the simplicity was it in the first place. Okay, so since we're not able to process, I want it now, that energy, that sentiment, that sense of urgency, I want it now, so we're not able to process it correctly. So we are criticized. And I would even venture to say that just like we don't know how to drink properly, we don't know how to hold our alcohol properly, so stay away from that, that's evil. We don't know how to handle our sexuality properly, say stay away from that, okay? That's no good. And then only at the end, they say, okay, now you're ready to make proper, now you can use this properly. Okay, I'm not giving everybody to think, okay, I'm advanced and I can go get drunk as much as I can or anything like that, okay? I'm saying the things that we are asked to stay away from is not because they're ultimately things to stay away from. It's not because they're inherently evil. It's just that we don't have the means to process them properly. And all this is to talk about one thing that I believe that we are all feeling. I mean, there are a lot of things that we are feeling, but there's one thing that we are feeling. And I think everybody, from no matter what side you find yourself, you're finding yourself having to deal with extreme, I would say, anger. Extreme anger. And I will tell you this. Anger is a divine energy. Whoa, what did I just say? Am I Buddhist? I just said anger is a divine energy. Oh, I'm gonna get my license revoked. Okay. Anger is a divine energy. And just like in the beginning, you cannot be trusted with things that are very powerful. In order for you to stay away from harming yourself, you're told, stay away from that. Okay? Because staying away from it is good for you at that stage. And what we are, and there's a danger in that. It's a divine energy. And what is its purpose? Its purpose is the complete destruction of things that refuse to die, that needs to die. Okay? That's why when you feel anger, there's always that tinge of being right. Okay? But because we're not able to really connect with that righteousness, and I don't mean righteousness in a derogatory way, I'm talking about that divine aspect of it. It's because somehow in our blindedness, we're able to make some sort of contact with that divinity of that energy that's calling for destruction. Okay, and what is it calling for? What is it that is calling the destruction of? It's calling for the destruction of what compassion is dealing with. It's not. Well, let me make sure I said that correctly, so it doesn't seem to sound like I'm saying that anger, the divine nature of anger is to destroy compassion. Okay, actually, anger is the energy and power behind compassion. Okay, it's an aspect of compassion. It sees this is not right, and I must do something about it. Okay, if you just strip anger of all the kinds of social and all kinds of things that we add to it. Just look at it at its bare essence. Okay, doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, but just look at it by itself. This is wrong, and I'm going to do something about it. And what am I going to do about it? Something needs to go. Something needs to be destroyed. Okay. Now, when your compassion is mature enough, then you can fully take on, you can fully wield this energy. Okay, and when that energy is being used, compassion must hold it. Compassion must direct it. Okay? And you have to be very careful when you're wielding this anger. Remember, it is compassion that invoked it. All right? Don't allow this intention of compassion to be almost desecrated by now that you're wielding the energy, this energy that will destroy what is causing suffering, the energy that will annihilate when it's very holy, that will annihilate the cause of suffering. Don't get caught up in that and put compassion aside and just start using the energy without compassion. Okay, don't just say, okay, thank you, compassion, for bringing me this energy. Now go away, because you're not needed anymore. Because I I need hatred to handle this. Okay. And what is it that needs to be destroyed? Always remember, the enemy of the enemy, or I mean, just for the sake of poetic language, okay? The object or the target of this energy of compassion is ignorance. Remember that. What it wants to destroy is ignorance. Because it is ignorance that is ultimately responsible for every single samsaric condition that exists. So immediately when you see something, your compassion is triggered and you feel anger. Remember, the aim of anger, the aim of this energy is not just to go and destroy everything. Its aim, its target is ignorance. Keep that in mind. Okay. And practically speaking, when you find yourself in fiery debate with someone, oh yes, there is a possibility that you may be wrong. So as you hold the this divine energy of anger, remember, the ignorance that you may need to strike may be your own ignorance. Okay? So don't just think that the ignorance that has to be destroyed outside of you only, because now you're holding this divine energy. Its target is ignorance wherever the ignorance is. And sometimes the ignorance is within us. And the way, in the same sort of emotional urgency that you feel about getting rid of the sense of the right not being right, also don't be attached to your arguments. Don't be attached to your point of view. This divine thing must allow it to find its target, if the target is within you. In that sense, present, I'm talking about a heated debate, present your point of view. And if there is any ignorance in it, leave it there for even your own fiery divine wielding of that fire energy. Put it in front of you for even for yourself to strike. Okay, so be open. And how, and in a practical way, and this is sounding too abstract. In a practical way, how is this done? Someone says something that from the very face of it sounds like, oh my God, that's the worst thing anybody could have said. How could anyone say such a thing? How could anyone say such a thing? And so there's something within you that says something is wrong that needs to be corrected. That is nothing wrong with that. Something wrong needs to be corrected. So keep it that way. Something wrong needs to be corrected, and there's nothing wrong with that. But don't forget that the wrong could be residing within you also. So it could also be what needs to be adjusted, corrected. Okay, so the person says something that is absolutely the worst thing that you could have, for you at that moment, seems to be the worst thing that you could hear. As you are responding, understand that what you are responding to is not the person. Okay, it's not the person that you're responding to. It is this ignorance that could be in me or that could be in the person that you're responding to. Okay? Where, and if you allow yourself that openness, what you may discover is that, wait a minute, what I thought I heard this person say is not really what this person. It's like if you're able to allow yourself to touch the person in with your heart, allow your heart to touch this person. Okay. You may notice that the person may have used those words, but the person was intending to say something else. Okay. And allow yourself to touch, to connect with that. Remember, compassion is is being invoked. Let compassion continue to play its part. So listen with your heart to what the person is saying. Even though on the surface of it, it sounds like something outrageous, something that needs to be, smashed. Okay. So that as you are smashing it, you want the person to participate in smashing it also. You want to, because if you make it that you're attacking the person, of course, instinctively, the person is going to defend themselves. And because this argument, even though it could be completely wrong, completely, the worst thing that anybody could hold on to, if you and because of identity, because the person is identifying with that, this argument is me, and now you're making those two things one and the same, and you're attacking, the person is going to naturally defend. And what happens? The person holds on to their ignorance, if it is them holding on to their ignorance, and your compassion, your anger was wielded for nothing. You call the divine to do nothing. Because we couldn't let go of our own ego. The meditation that we did, where we ended up sort of blending into a common us, almost like making that abstract someone outside of this community. When they talk about us, it's almost as if they have this one thing that is, us here. Okay, so we make that one thing into a kind of a reality, and we blend into it, and we accept it that we are this one thing, right? So in this one thing, we have this common aims, common intentions, and it manifests in different ways, in different personalities, in different appearances. Remember that when you're arguing with someone, you do share something already. Find that which we share with the other person. Okay? Establish that there's a common concern that we have. And from that common concern, now the person, we're not attaching the person to the idea, and we're not attached to our own idea, and we are both open to looking at this, and we are both open to fulfill our intention. Let the divine sword do its job, so that we both come out of this encounter wiser. We both come out of this encounter having done a little bit of damage to what is causing us samsaric experience. Okay. And of course, there are some people, even though you may, because in themselves, they are so attached to their idea, they are so identified with their idea, they don't see it as an idea in their minds, but rather themselves, that's the idea. So it might take some time. It might make some time, meaning it might take some lifetimes. Okay. In this life, you may never be able to establish a common thing with them. But don't lose that sense of common understanding. yourself. Okay? If we are here in samsara together, we already have one thing that we share in common. We want to get out of here. And out of here is not some abstract thing where you go to some kind of universe or some kind of planet or whatever, galaxy, okay? It's the condition of being limited, the condition of not really knowing ourselves. We're all stuck in that. And we are responding because of that. We are being manipulated by this misunderstanding. All of us are. We are all being manipulated by the misunderstanding. And sometimes when someone presents something to you that is extremely off, way out there, and that they sincerely believe in, perhaps the thing to do is to take him on a journey to see where that actually ultimately leads to. Okay? But without making them feel, with you understanding, you'll not see them as in that idea as the same thing. Okay. All right. So we are all victims of the misunderstanding. We're all stuck here. Well, not stuck here, but we all find ourselves here. Okay. And with an understanding of complete freedom, total freedom. Even you could say someone is there's that things, others are doing things to you. Yes, there is that appearance, others doing things to you. Even with that, at a fundamental level, we are participating. At a fundamental level, we are allowing. Okay? At a fundamental level. It doesn't mean that this is something for us to learn to now direct blame. Throwing blame is just a useless thing to do. Useless use of energy. Okay, right? So when you find yourself in a condition that you wish you were not in, immediately remind yourself of power, the power that allows for that to take place. I don't want to be here, and yet I am here. I don't want to experience this, and yet I'm experiencing this. That's power. And that power is coming from us. Okay? Even if the appearance is that things are happening to me, what seems to be not me, the power that is even allowing that to take place is coming from us. Okay? Always know that ultimately it's your power. Okay? Even if it's appearing to be coming from outside. It's like you hand someone a power to do something, and you just witnessing them using the power that you gave them. Okay? But the owner of that is still you. You can still claim it back. Okay? You still can claim it back. You could say, because of our misunderstandings, we ended up, dividing our powers, giving it to the here and there, thinking that somehow it would benefit us. It would bring us some kind of benefit. Okay? And that's something we should understand. The reason that we are where we are right now, the reason that we are experiencing what we're experiencing right now, even though this result is not something that we really wanted to experience, but before the experience, the aim was to experience something else. The aim was to experience something that we would say, oh yes, I want this. Keep that in mind, not just for us, but everyone you encounter, whatever is going on in their lives. The aim was not, especially people who are in difficult situations, whatever the difficult situation is. How they ended up there is somewhere they thought, of course, unconsciously, but the intention was to experience something completely different. something that they thought would actually benefit them. Okay. So when someone throws something malicious at you, yes, they're misguided. It's because somehow they believe by throwing this malicious thing at you, somehow they will benefit. Somehow they will take care of something that is harming them, maybe. Okay. And we do that too. And the reason for doing it is not with the hope that one day, oh, I would love to suffer a little bit. Let me do this so I could suffer a little bit. As you understand this, understand your participation. And it's not like, well, let me wait for it to die down. Let me wait for it to go away. Let me wait for it to sort of disappear. We wish that could be something that could be done. How the process of how we ended up with our experience is we engaged. We engaged. Directed by misunderstanding, but it was engagement. Engagement doesn't care if it's misunderstanding guiding it. It will bring results, no matter what. Okay. So understanding that means now we must continue with this means of creating experiences, engage. We have to continue to engage, but rather this time with more wisdom than misunderstanding. And even as you are engaging in something, understand, have some conscious understanding of to what measure you're understanding what you're doing, even though you don't understand it fully. Bring up some measure of understanding of what you're doing, and understand that what the aim of this engagement is. Okay. And admit to yourself, this is the measure of wisdom that I have. And I am investing this measure of wisdom to get more wisdom. If we do not invest the measure of wisdom that we have, we will not get more wisdom. That is, you can't just sit and do nothing and wait for one day to have incredible inspiration, incredible enlightenment, then you can act. In order for us to develop our wisdom, we must exercise the wisdom that we have right now and understand that it is inadequate. Understand that it is not sufficient. That is, we are open for further wisdom. But we honor wisdom so much that we will use the measure that we have. One of the things that, in terms of engagement, that we can do, the very first thing is, okay, yeah, you want to do something very skillful, something guided by wisdom, and you don't know exactly what that is. Let your intuition guide you. And you may be completely wrong. You think that it's your intuition, it's just your ego. But as long as your intention is to be guided by wisdom, that itself will guide you to properly. And with hesitation, I mean, this is kind of this is going to be something almost sounds like an oxymoron or impossibility. But with hesitation, that is being open to being wrong, maybe, when you are right, you act accordingly. When you believe you have wisdom, you act, and yet you're cautious. Okay? It's like I may have fake wisdom, but I want real wisdom. But since I don't fully know to what degree, what is fake wisdom, what is real wisdom, I'm going to trust this wisdom that I have with the openness that by doing that, I'll get more wisdom. Okay. And one of the things that you may discover in doing that is how wrong you were. Discovering how wrong you were, that's your wisdom now. Now you know for sure because you acted, because you engaged. Now you've made space for wisdom, because sincerely you thought it was wisdom, sincerely you were acting out of it, and you were open. You didn't think that you had the ultimate wisdom and nothing else but this, but you were open. And you were wrong, but because it was wisdom that you wanted, let go of that. Let go of that. I was wrong, let go of it. Learn from it. And don't whine, don't linger in guilt. Oh, I was wrong, I was wrong, I was wrong, I was wrong. Don't linger in that. That is such a waste of energy, such a waste of divinity. You've learned something. And you can even share that. Hey, I tried that. That's the result I got. You can share that. Okay, that's wisdom. Now, the big thing. All that was talking about was now take it out of the realm of what seems to be the abstract. Now apply it in your life as it is happening right here, right now. Okay. Whoever you approach in these times, especially in these times, connect with them at the place where we share things, where we have common interests. Even though from the appearance of it, you seem like completely opposite things. Okay. What that eagerness, that anger that we feel the need to have it happen right here, right now, right here, can't wait anymore. Honor it. Okay? There's no waiting for tomorrow for ignorance to catch up, to grow up. That time is past. We're not in that time anymore. We may go back to that time in the future, but that's not the time right now. And I'm not saying be compulsive. That energy, I want it to happen now, we must carry it on. You must really want it to happen now, but holding wisdom in your mind. Okay? And when you see, it seems like I'm seeing correctly, there's a systemic thing that needs to change. I need to participate in it. You better do something. But understand, the systemic thing to address is not necessarily an outer systemic thing. It's an inner systemic thing also. In the same way that the system is showing us its flaws, let that be a mirror to us. In what way systemically am I perpetuating flaws? In what way systemically in my own system am I perpetuating the very thing that I see that I should be against? Remember, it says participation. Okay. And understanding that we arrived here not with the intention to experience what we are experiencing as an ultimate result. We arrive here seeking something truly noble. And this is just not the noble that we were seeking. And because we are sincere in the search for the noble, we cannot just substitute the noble for this. That is, don't settle for this. What you are looking for is noble and is truly noble, and keep looking for it, keep searching for it, keep going in its direction. And what you have to dismantle here to get there, be ready to dismantle it. In the same way, you feel strong anger towards what seems to be a systemic thing outside that needs to be dismantled. With that same fiery energy, dismantle the very system here, the very thing, the very structures that are perpetuating our condition. And I think I talk too much. I'm not sure if if you feel like I fully address the topic. I mean, in terms of the purification thing, you already know it. The thing is, understand why it's there. Okay, in a sense of what do I mean by why it's there? What we have is not what we were seeking, and we should continue to seek. Should continue to seek. And we must act. And by acting, I'm not talking about physical action only. Since we have body, we have speech, we also have mind. All of these, we have to engage all of them. Okay. And sometimes the most powerful thing that you could do is to just sit and be silent in your own being. That could be a powerful thing to do. Like you're touching something that we all have in common and then radiating it, allowing others to touch that also. Sometimes that's the most powerful thing to do. And sometimes the most powerful thing to do is to write a letter. That's why it's called skillful means, depending on the situation, allowing wisdom and compassion to guide you. And that's it. That was going to be enough. And yeah. All right. Ready for questions, debates? I don't know if I said this before, but there's this thing I want to say, especially with, I'm talking about the feeling of anger and the desire, the urgency to do something. Remember, really, really remember, it's compassion that invoked it. Remember that, it's compassion that invoked it. Stay in line with compassion. Otherwise, what's gonna happen? This urgency to do something, this urgency to see a result immediately, will make you do something so you can see a result immediately that has nothing to do with what you really want. You will have expended that energy and you will have the satisfaction, oh, I did something, I got a result, but it's not what you were really wanting. So that's wasted, okay? Sometimes it could be extremely stressful to direct this energy properly, okay? And the pain of it might make us want to, I can't handle this anymore. I'm basically saying, I need to see a result right here, right now. And that's why you could say, sometimes when people are angry, they blow up, okay? It's that need to see a result immediately. So they see a result immediately. They blow up. They broke the glass or said something, and that gives them a satisfaction. Ah, okay. I used the energy, but it was misdirected, and the condition is still there for you to deal with. And last thing I'm going to say, okay. Remember, the urgency of your beautiful generation, this beautiful generation, is not in the next generation. This is the stop. That's what your beautiful people are doing. That's what's going on within you. You're saying the urgency is, this is the generation where it stops. And I'm refusing to allow this to continue with the next generation. That's a very beautiful thing. So make sure you direct energy properly, direct it constructively, direct it in a way that is truly creative, that actually brings about that result for the next generation. Don't waste it with apparent immediate results. Okay, really, that's it. I'm gonna let you ask questions or say something.
Thank you for the beautiful teaching.
Yeah. Thank you.
You opened my
heart. Okay, I thought that was a question, but that was a comment from earlier. All right.
Hi, Phuntsok. Thank you. That was a really, really great talk. Question. I've heard people say that depression is anger turned inward, and maybe speak a little bit to that. And then the $1 million question, aside from sitting and meditating for 5 lifetimes, how do you really, discern intuition from ego?
Okay. First, the not $1 million question. Yeah, depression, I would agree with that statement. Depression is anger turned inwards. But not in the way that I was referring to, right? When I was talking about put even your own ideas on the table for the sort of wisdom to cut through. So don't be attached to your ideas or your understandings, okay? But deliberately lay them down and be ready to yourself smash it, okay? Now, anger turns to depression is when, depression is anger turned inwards, is in the sense of having all this energy, needing to do something, needing to see a result, and then feeling that there's no way to fulfill the requests of this anger, and it has to go in a direction. And when it goes inward, what it's going towards, it's going towards the requester. That within us is requesting. We feel that what needs to be destroyed. So it turns inward and becomes depression. Okay. Now, the $1 million question. I hope I'll get my million after I answer this. And it's not gonna seem like an answer, and that's why you're not gonna give me my million. The way to develop intuition is to exercise it, even when it seems wrong. Okay. And it's this way. The voice of intuition is always clear It doesn't make a noise. It speaks with authority. And when it speaks, it doesn't repeat itself. It may have a sense of lasting a long time, but it's not lasting a long time because it's repeating itself. It's just makes its present felt so strongly that it seems to be enduring over time. But sometimes it's just like that. And the authority of when it speaks is that, it's like, this is right, and there's nothing that's going to make it not right. I think I read this this quote from Mahatma Gandhi, something like, no matter if something is false, it doesn't matter how many times you multiply, it doesn't make it truth. And if something is truthful, it doesn't matter, it will not become error, even if no one knows it. So intuition has that authority that I don't need, I have to give it a personality, okay? I don't need you to validate me, okay? I spoke and that was it, okay? So intuition is always like that, clear, authoritative. It feels like authority to it, and it doesn't repeat itself, even though it may make it present last for a long time. And as far as us exercising is concerned, as soon as we feel intuition, we must exercise it. And it is in the exercising of intuition, or what we feel is intuition, that we align ourselves closer and closer to what you might call spontaneous, ever flowing intuition. Okay. Okay. And I guess that's it. Yeah. Thank you.
I feel like you could get $1 million for that.
My PayPal account is all right. Oh, wait a minute. I was supposed to give you $1 million if I answered it. Is that it? You didn't quite state the details of that. Okay. All right, everyone. And I'm going to call out a name because I haven't seen his name in a long time. Ritesh, say something.
I was going to say, you guys don't have to argue with $1 million and give it to me.
All right. All right, everyone, all you lovely people. I'm so happy to be, that you allowed me to be amongst you. You're such lovely people. Thank you. All right, let's go back to our ending meditation. Not to go back to it, but no, let's begin at the ending meditation. Okay. Okay, sorry, just had this, an example of what I was mentioning. Maybe you can Google it, okay? There's this African-American guy who attends KKK rallies and who engages in conversation with them, okay? And also there's another example. There was this, I'm not sure if she's Palestinian or, well, she's Middle Eastern, and she engages, the same kind of people who are known to hate her kind, so to speak. Okay. So if you can find those, I would suggest that you look into them. And if you already know about them, remember them. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. The names are just text there. Thank you. All right. So make the intention, you're going to meditate. Let that ring to all the components of your being. And be sensitive to the different components responding, wanting to participate, wanting to cooperate. And have that sense of allowing them. Even your environment, your seat. And where we end meditation, since we just had a meditation, now recall how it felt when you were in the meditation. My body felt that way, and just allow just the recalling of that, allow that to give you the experience again. And once you feel a palpable contact with that experience again, stabilize it with a full breath. In through the nose and gently breathe out through the mouth. And as you breathe out, just let yourself dive into that space, into that experience. Feel it physically, energetically, emotionally. And immediately remember, this is a costume that our common shared values in its impossible way of being fully being expressed, it is expressing itself as a group of people. And think of the merit that we together, collectively, collected together tonight. Allowing the wisdom aspect of our being, the wisdom aspect to come to the forefront. And that itself bathe us with blessings, with merit. And whatever understanding we may have gained, be ready to share this with your mere presence and with your actions. And again, see us in a circle, our common being, the being that is our common shared values, appearing as a bright presence in our center. And then slowly expanding, sending light to us, we send light to it, and we're empowering each other until that center becomes the entirety. And from our combined center, now see light radiating outwards. See it going into the places where we visit. See it visiting the people that we know, that we encounter, the people that we think about, the people that we talk with. the people we meet in the street, the strangers, our colleagues, our families. Giving them the gift, sharing the gift that we have received. Until we see the entire planet absorbed into that one us. Stay with the realization, one common value expressing itself in different ways. Common experience of samsara, seeking to escape it, manifesting in different ways. Touching the divine here and there once in a while and expressing it in different ways. And now see ourselves back again in a circle, and our common us goes back to being in the center of our circle. And then it sort of dissolves, disperses itself into each one of us, making each one of us now a center. And whatever concerns you have, sincere concerns you have, dedicate. Gyewa di gyewo kun sunam yeshe zozo shin sunam yeshe lejungwe tamba kunyi topar sho. Witness yourself abiding in the meditative state, rejoice. Now make the deliberate intention to arise. Sign that commitment with a breath. Through the nose, out the mouth. And reconnect with your immediate surrounding through your sense of touch, being aware of the temperature, your clothing, being aware of the sounds around you, and being aware of, again, colors, light, shapes, faces, beards. All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phuntsok.